Start recording.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. For those of you who requested this video, we've just been saying hello to everyone and glad that you can watch this. And a brief recap, we're going to go over four things right now. The rationale of why we're doing this, part of that's historical, the implications, financial and managerial, and the opportunities. Thank you for joining in. Well, 7 years ago, Compass began as a church plant, and we began at the YMCA. And that was a great opportunity. They gave us a really good rate. We had some challenges meeting in a workout facility, especially when they opened on Sunday mornings. But 5 years ago, Calvary Chapel moved out of the ballet studio and asked us if we would want to take their spot. So grateful for relationships, other churches, and that they um, alerted us to the opportunity. So 5 years ago, we moved to the ballet studio. And for those of you who weren't part of both of those histories, just to highlight how challenging it is when you're starting a church to find a facility to meet in that is stable, it's suitable, and it's affordable. Really hard to find those three things and in a good location. That's part of being suitable. And so it was God's grace and his hand to lead us both to the YMCA and give us favor there and to the ballet studio because they both met both of those criterias. But this past winter, earlier this year, I talked to the owner and he said the ballet company was closing. The ballet company was the primary tenant of the facility and really managed the facility. We were just a renter for 6 hours on Sunday mornings. Um, and it became very clear the owner was wanting to hand the managerial responsibilities, the really the primary tenant responsibilities off to somebody else. And it became very clear to us, okay, if we just do nothing, if we just wait and hope they figure it out, and we just hope to continue with what we're doing, there was a significant downside risk. Our future could become very unstable. The new management could decide to change our cost. The future management could decide they want to do something else and terminate our lease, which they could have. And so we decided let's be proactive and let's propose something else. And I began conversations with the owner about becoming the primary tenant and assuming the managerial responsibilities for the facility itself. Um, and it took probably 2 to 3 months for us to back and forth. And what about this way, this way, this way, to where we were able to come to an agreement. And here's the rationale of why we did that. We love the location. I mean, this is a very central location for all of Naples. All right. There's no lake location that's perfect for everyone in Naples, but this is very central. Great exposure. I mean, it's on one of the busiest roads in Naples. We're not hidden away where no one can see us. There's still room to grow at this facility as a church. We haven't filled it to capacity as to what we can do yet. So we still have some room to grow. And the price is right. Okay. And we're going to talk about the financial things. But again, that's one of the challenges of finding a great facility in a great location is price. And the price has been right for us. So it took us, like I said, 2 to 3 months to work it out, but we actually signed the lease last week.
Mhm.
So we are the primary tenant of the facility as of last week. Now that will begin June 15th. So it is upon us, you know, after next Sunday, we're taking responsibility for that. And the ballet company is winding down. So it's a little chaotic in the transition and trying to figure all of this out. But let me stop there and see if there are any questions or comments or thoughts on the rationale. No hands waving. That's fine. Oh, Dean, you have to unmute.
Debbie wants to know, is it still going to be used by the ballet studio?
Yeah, so I'll let me talk about that.
Okay.
So that will be part of implications. Is that okay? So we currently have been paying about 3,100 a month in rent. Okay, and that's to rent it for 6 hours on a Sunday. Um, Compared to what I know other churches pay, that's a great deal. You know, for people who are in temporary space, that's a really good deal for the month. Um, what we negotiated with the owner, we're adding $4,500 a month to our rent to become the primary tenants. That includes uh, oversight management, basically ownership of the events business that was associated with the studio. They host weddings, quinceañeras, graduations, birthday parties. People rent it on Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. So we basically bought the business from the owner to be able to have access to that business. That we agreed upon was an additional 4,500. So Compass is on the hook for $7,600 a month now, but we're the primary tenant. Uh, there also are some guaranteed revenues basically with some existing clients. There's jazzercise classes, there's um, uh, tap dance classes, an Irish dance class, and these people have been renting for many years, and we've agreed to continue to rent to them. And that's about $2,000 a month, and we get to keep it. It's now ours. Okay. There's also guaranteed revenue from one dance instructor who asked to really build his business there of 2,000 a month. And that 2,000 will go to the owner, but it's guaranteed. If he doesn't make enough money to pay the 2,000, we just owe him what was actually paid. So there's no risk to the church on that. It doesn't really come into the equation. So really, and we've inherited all the events that have already been booked from here on, which comes out to about $5,000 a month in net revenue after expenses for the events. So, any accountants in the call here? Oh, Kim is. All right. So the church is on the hook for 7,600. That's our 3,100 plus 4,500. Um, you can forget about the guaranteed revenue because it doesn't really impact us. It's just if the dance teacher pays it, it goes away. The existing revenue of 2,000, the events revenue that's already booked of 5,000 a month, that's that's 7,000 in existing revenue, and subtract that from 7,600. What is the church paying for rent now?
3,100.
3,100. If you take the 7,600 less the 4,500, you're at 3,100.
Well,
So now
it's the 7,600 minus the existing events revenue of 5,000 a month. 600, Dean. Whoo, the author got it. Plus the 2,000 that's existing coming in. Basically, between now and November, the church the church's rent has gone from 3,100 a month to 600 a month.
Good deal.
That's a good deal. It's a good deal.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, we have to continue to sell events, January and beyond. We've got like 4 events already sold into next year. Um, Starting in November, he's expecting this one dance teacher to have grown his business and is expecting another about $1,900 a month. But again, it's guaranteed revenue. If the dance teacher doesn't make it, we don't owe it. If he makes more than that, we get to keep it. So there's no downside risk, but there's upside opportunity financially if this dance teacher does well. That arrangement will continue from November 1st to October 31st of next year. So again, if we continue to sell one or two events a month, the church's rent is almost been eliminated. And, we're going to have access to the facility at more times. What we've agreed on is that then for the next year after that, we would add $1,000 a month total. So basically our 4,500 added is going up to 5,500. And the way we negotiated that is we told him we want to do about $12,000 worth of improvements to the interior of the facility. So basically he's giving us a break for the first year of 1,000 a month. So it equals 12,000. So starting November 1st of 27, you can just add another 1,000 to what we owe him. And then we have another 3 years on the agreement that will just go up based on the cost of living adjustment for Social Security. That will be our rent increase on an annual basis. So doesn't take a CPA, Kim.
Apparently not, because Scott always tells me CPAs can't do math in their head, and I think I just proved that.
Apparently authors can. Thanks, Dean. Um, but financially, uh, grateful. I mean, really, this is a win-win. The owner just he wants somebody he knows and trusts to run this facility for him. We've spent 5 years building a relationship with him. He knows us. He trusts us. Um, so you never know what that kind of investment in other people is going to reap over time. So we weren't doing that for this reason. We didn't know. That's the right thing to do as followers of Christ. You love people, you're generous, you're kind, you're trustworthy. But it's reaping something back for the church right now because he feels he can trust. He built this building 25 years ago. He and his wife. She has a passion for dance and ballet, and she ran the ballet company for many years. This has been their life. He does love croquet too. And
Nice.
and he's keeping the croquet to himself. We don't have to do anything with the croquet. He's doing that, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to be able to enjoy that when they come back, and so we don't have any responsibility there. And that's part of why he's not selling it. He doesn't want to lose that, and that's actually a benefit for us. If this property were to go on the market, it could be upwards of 5 million plus, and that's a big ask for a little church. Yes, Audrey has a question.
Do we have access to the yard in the back, to the acre or whatever?
Up to the fence for the croquet field. So there's the patio, there's a yard, but once you go past that white fence and you're on the croquet fields, that's we don't touch that except if we book a wedding and they want to use the gazebo.
Oh, could we
uh,
erect a tent, I guess, a white tent? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No, they'll do a wedding where, there's just some chairs set up, but even then they're going to have to repair. It's like a golf course back there. So putting chairs on that turf does damage. People
Yeah.
walking in heeled shoes damages it. And they'll allow us to do that for an event, but we're going to have to pay them, you know,
Uh,
a certain amount to have access. But putting a tent on the croquet fields, I don't think they would,
okay.
unless we paid them a lot of money.
Yeah. Wondering if you
Uh,
larger wedding and you wanted to expand, if you could, if that was,
Yeah, I think the damage that would do to that turf would be
yeah,
beyond
worth it.
what's acceptable for like fixing a ball mark on the green. It would be significant. But
Yeah.
I understand, and Audrey, I know you've run a wedding venue, so you have all kinds of ideas. I can't wait to hear more.
Well, I'm excited.
Um,
Yeah.
any other questions on that?
And can I ask one more, John? So how did they get their events scheduled? Did they do some kind of advertising? How did they get?
Yeah, so of course, there's a sign that says Naples Arts and Banquet Center, And it says, banquets or events on the sign. And
Oh,
if you go on the website, one of the things is banquets and do that. But I don't think they really worked very hard at promoting the event side,
okay.
Audrey. I think there's a lot of room for improvement, which is actually great news for us because
Right.
with very little effort,
They
they've
were,
booked $5,000 a month in net revenue
right. Yeah. Yeah.
with
That's
very
good.
little work.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Are there going to be extra costs that we will incur as part of taking over these other events?
They're built into the events.
Okay.
So, when I say 5,000 net,
Mhm. Got it.
there's a gross that's bigger that then is including cleaning costs, supervisory costs. Some of those types of things are built into the event. If there's no events, then there's no cost. But then we have to, bear the lost revenue, but that's not the plan.
Can I have another question, John?
Yes, Audrey.
So, okay, so you have a wedding or whatever. How many parking places are there on the property to accommodate people?
Hector and Ben have counted them. I think it's 85.
85.
Okay, yeah, 85.
Yeah.
There's some additional, kind of grass parking beyond the croquet fields that could be utilized. That's probably for another 15. But we also have the Germain Honda next door, and there's a good relationship
Oh,
that they could allow more parking if we need it occasionally.
oh, that's good. Okay,
Yeah, they've got a lot of parking.
good.
Probably the issue is going to be more capacity of the building. Really, 300 is kind of the max um, in terms of, people that can be
People.
in there at one time.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be big events, but lots of
Yeah,
weddings, quinceañeras fall within that range easily. So,
sure.
so
Absolutely.
there's a good market for it. So, can I move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. Organizationally, what are the implications? And this is where we've had to spend a lot of time. Part of why it took so long for us to figure this out. We had to get our ducks in a row. What does it look like for a church to basically run an events business and do all of this? So we've had meetings with a very good attorney that was highly recommended. He's done a great job for us. We've met with a number of tax CPAs to talk about this. And basically, we landed on uh, the uh, that it would be wise and the right thing to do for the church to create an LLC that would basically run the event and facility business side for the church. The church, it'd be a single member LLC. Church owns it, and but that LLC would run it. It's mostly for liability protection
Oh,
for the
sure.
church itself. There really are no financial or tax liability issues. If you just rent real property, not products or services, they are not taxable. And they're exempt for a church from what's called unrelated business income, which can become a problem. Let's say if a church has a coffee shop and it's open to the public and that coffee shop just starts doing great. It's an unrelated business, and the income from that is subject to pretty significant tax, and at high levels of revenue can actually then threaten the nonprofit status of the church. So, you just have to be careful. But the specific purpose and business that we would be engaging in is exempt from that. So the way we operate it is important. We're just renting space, not taking responsibility for the events. We're not planning the events. We're not managing any of the things for the event. It's here's the room, here's our furniture, here's everything comes with it. Just use it. And they would sign releases and liability waivers, et cetera. The LLC is actually the primary tenant of the facility. So we've signed the lease in the name of the LLC. The church will be renting space from the LLC. The contracts with all of the different people who are renting from the property will be renting from the LLC. And the name of the LLC we decided to call Etudes Events. Etudes is the kind of the name that our community has known for 25 years of this facility. So why not just keep that identity? People know Etudes. So Etudes Dance Center, Etudes Events. Um, plus for those who are just coming to rent something, it's not like, oh, I'm renting from the church. We're not hiding anything, but it is helpful for that. So, for tax purposes, the LLC will flow through. There's no financial implications for the church. The excess revenue of the LLC will directly flow to the church and benefit the church. Of course, if it doesn't go well, the liability financially will go to the church. So, we're taking a risk, but as I've already outlined in the financial implications, that risk is very low right now. And we have a 6-month out clause. Okay, so we have a 5-year agreement, but we have a 6-month out clause. If this is not working for us, or if there's a problem, we have 6 months. We can say, you know what, this is not working. We're leaving, and we have 6 months, and there's no penalty, whatsoever. The owner also has that. If something happens to him, he's getting old. He's had health issues. If he dies, his wife dies. It's going to go to the kids, and we don't know what they're going to do. So that risk always exists. Not much we can do beyond trying to be a great tenant, to maybe the kids would be like, hey, this works, keep going. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Do we have to keep setting things up every Sunday?
Yes, because it will continue to be a multi-purpose facility. It's not just a church meeting in that room. There will be events and dance things going on. But there are probably some things that we can do to make it easier for the church to set up. I've done this a lot, starting churches in different ways. When you own a facility and you have a permanent setup, it's still a lot of work. So I don't want us to overestimate how hard it is to do setup every Sunday. It is work, but it gives people something to do. And we do it pretty efficiently. And the benefit of being able to then utilize that space for other stuff throughout the week, it just makes it easy. But there's going to be some things that we can do to improve our efficiencies as the primary tenant. Many of the rooms in that facility are full of costumes. Those are all going. So we're getting several new spaces that have not been available to us for the past 5 years. We're gaining a nursery. That's going to be a wonderful place, especially for little kids. We're gaining an office space that's going to be great for administrative purposes, be secure. We're going to be gaining a living room, kind of conference room space that will be just a great place for smaller gatherings, small group, for meetings. A bride can use it when they're doing their bridal thing. Those parts of the facility have been off limits because they're full of ballet costumes and whatever else. So all of that's going away. It's also going to free up some other storage areas in the building that are going to help us as a church to put some of our equipment and make it a little easier. So
How many square feet is that building?
it's 9,000 square feet. It's not
Really?
huge. Yeah, but
I would never have guessed that.
that's more than you thought it would be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And in good weather times, you got that beautiful patio that adds probably another 1,500 square feet under the awning. And, so there's that's all good. Now with the events, and somebody asked this about the overhead, there's cleaning personnel, there's kind of event supervisors, and these people have been with the facility for some time. I have a good relationship with them, and we're just gonna keep going with them. They had a quinceañera last night there, and the setup for that started at 1 PM. The cleaning person didn't probably leave till 5 AM. And we show up for church, and the facility looks great. So these guys know what they're doing. There's a cost to it, but we built that into the event. But they will be paid by the church, through the LLC to do that work. So those guys are in place. Grateful for that. Believe me, none of us want to be there at 2 and 3 in the morning. So I'm so grateful for that. But I've had to do a lot in this transitional period. So grateful for Pastor Ben. I'm grateful for everybody else that's kind of freed me up to do some of this. But we're going to need to hire a facility coordinator. It's a part-time role, but the facility coordinator would really be handling the scheduling and um, making sure that things are happening, that there's communication with the cleaning people, the supervision people, with the clients that are using it. And Nicole Reardon has agreed to take that job.
Nice.
So she's going to keep her other job. So don't say anything to the other employer, okay? This is just a part-time job she's doing on the side. And uh, really, she's doing it in the implementation stage. There's lots of systems and infrastructure that needs to be put in place for this to just be managed more simply. So she may or may not be the long-term facility manager, but she's stepping in starting June 15th, um, basically to relieve a lot of pressure off of me, to get all of these things in place and so that it's running well. So those are some of the organizational implications. I don't see Pastor Ben and I or any other future employees doing a lot with the building. It's possible if we hire a worship leader that, they could take on some responsibilities administratively, helping with that. But that's to be determined. We don't want it to distract us, from the primary purpose of the church of making disciples. All right. So I just want you to hear that. So, any questions on the implications? Hey, Josh. Didn't know you had a little one, man.
I flew. I'm in Illinois right now. That's why I wasn't at church this morning. This is my grandbaby.
Oh, isn't that great? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hold on. My wife has a question, but apparently she can't unmute, so she's coming in. Hold on.
About Nicole doing the part-time, but we also need a wedding planner or a event planner.
Okay, great. Can you hear me?
Me?
Yeah, no, everybody. So one of the other potential implications here as we get established is somebody who might be more skilled at helping with event, kind of selling the events. Okay, promoting, meeting with the potential people, somebody who's doing a wedding or doing a graduation. It's not necessarily the facility manager, but somebody who's adept at really selling the events, and that would be very part-time. But again, that's another potential organizational implication on the horizon that maybe it's someone in the church that fits. Yeah, Audrey's raising her hand. Definitely.
I would love to do it. Yeah.
That's great. So I think there's really potential upside there. Well, let me just talk about the opportunity. We're not going to have 24/7 access because we are sharing this facility. We're benefiting financially, but sharing the facility with others. So it's not like we can do whatever we want whenever we want because we are committing for different people to use the facility at different times. But it is going to increase significantly our access to the facility for church programs, meetings, Bible studies, and outreach. Potentially having a homeschool group that could come in and do some things there. So we'll be looking at the different ways that the church can directly use the facility for ministry. It's just the security that we get that somebody's not going to come in and tell us you have to leave or your rent's going up, or we're at somebody else's mercy. We really are the ones in charge of the facility. The cost opportunity, that's going to free up budget money if things go as we plan them to. It's going to free up budget money for other things. And probably one of the biggest things on the horizon for us right now is we need a worship leader. And so we've begun in earnest to restart the search to look for somebody who can join our team. And Pastor Ben is right now vetting a lot of interest. Great news is we're actually getting interest. There were many times we weren't getting any inquiries. We actually are getting some very high quality, qualified people that are interested in coming to Naples and joining Compass. So stay tuned on that.
Yeah.
But this facility change on opportunity is actually going to help us because of the financial side. It's helping to subsidize the ministry of the church. Um, this is going to give us opportunity to touch unbelievers even more. Now, many of you, you touch unbelievers all the time in the various things that you do. But as a pastor of a church, sometimes it's hard, to touch unbelievers. I'm meeting with unbelievers all the time now, helping them with, showing them the space, meeting with dance teachers. They all know I'm the pastor of the church. And for many of them, they don't know any pastors. They don't know somebody like that. And it's putting flesh and bones, and it's putting someone who loves and cares and is actually serving them. We got to do that this morning. There's another dance teacher in town who's trying to grow her business. They're selling all the costumes at the studio. She came in and she bought 50 plus costumes, from the ballet company. She was just overwhelmed with how wonderful this was. And, she got to see the church in action and do this. And that's just a little taste of hosting this facility is going to give us opportunity to host many unbelievers and engage with them. And they're going to know this is a church facility. So that's an opportunity for us. And just reaching our community, some of the things I already said, this is going to give us opportunity now to say, what can we do to touch our community? Should we do a VBS in the summer, a vacation Bible school where, we can have kids come, a camp? What are some ways that we can draw people into the facility? They're gonna, the owner is paying for the sign to be improved and changed, and Compass Church Naples will be on the big sign
Oh,
now.
nice.
So that's great. I mean, church planters are like, how do we get visibility? Now, we have the biggest church sign in Naples already. It's our 18-foot trailer, and that works great. But we're going to have that plus the sign, which is great. And as I mentioned earlier, we already plan on making some interior improvements, updating it. You'll walk in on a Sunday morning and you'll really feel like this is a church, not this is a ballet studio being used as a church. It's going to feel more like this is a church. When someone comes to do a wedding, they're going to feel like, well, this is a wedding venue, not this is a ballet studio that is used as a wedding venue. So we're going to make some cosmetic changes that will update it, improve it, make it look nice. And actually, I think not only improve our experience as a church, but make it a more beneficial place for other people who are using it. So um, I'm sure there's more opportunity things to share, but I'll just leave it there and see if you have any other questions.
Are we gonna have sort of a barn building thing going on where we all get to chip in? Because I know Mike is already sitting there thinking, oh, me. So I'm assuming there are things that we can do to help.
I'm sure there will be. Rodney's already offered to help, and I know everybody's ready to grab a paintbrush and things like that. So things that we are able to do, I'm sure we'll be asking our members, hey, can you help out, pitch in? We want to build some shelves here. Or we want to do this or that. There's some things that may require more skilled paid labor to do, but really most of what we want to do in there is cosmetic. There's not much structural work. So I think church members could probably contribute a lot, but we're going to have to take it step by step. We're still implementing a lot of logistical infrastructure type things. How are we going to manage all these different people using the facility. So just give us some time, but I hope that we'll be there soon. Yes, Dean. Thanks. I've pretty much shared everything I want to share. I don't want this doesn't need to just be all rah rah. If you have concerns, this is a great place to express those as well. Or other feedback.
Rah, rah.
Yeah. This is Hector, and I just want to let everybody online know how just exciting this has been, and to see John and Ben and do everything that's needed to try to see whether this is an opportunity for the church. And I just want to thank John personally for the countless hours and effort and expertise and networking that he's done over the last couple of months to pull this together. It just plain would not have even been a possibility that we would have even, considered. And so, the other part about it that he's stressed already is our ability as a church to meet, people that aren't believers, that aren't churchgoers. And this has come about because John has built just a wonderful relationship with the owner, Jonathan, and has built that trust. And I would also say that, Jonathan comes by. I only just met him through this whole process and just briefly, but I know that he is also watching how we take care of the facility and how we greet people, how we treat other people. And that just builds on him feeling like, you know what, this church is, I don't know where his faith walk is, but has something special going on. And I'm thinking that he knows it's because we're followers of Lord Jesus Christ. And John, just a big shout out to you. But then also, everybody, that attends our church, because it's a witness that we have and this is just another step showing that people see us and they notice something and they're wondering what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, yeah. So, there are risks associated with this. Hector and I have met with the attorney and talked about, well, what if somebody wants to come and rent it and we don't like who they are? Well, it's an opportunity for us to love them and shine the love of Christ to them. We're not taking responsibility for their event, all right? But we can be a good host, and uh, we have to understand that when you decide to engage with a lost world, um, you're also choosing to engage with some of the risks involved in that. But we want to be that kind of partner in our community. We don't want to be the kind of partner that builds a wall and says, stay out. We want to be a member of this community where people go, you can trust those people. They will take care of you. And, we'll have rules, we'll have guidelines, we'll have values that we will be very clear about. But uh, that's part of why we've separated the events business really from the church to really try to do that. So want to be upfront about that. Good. Any other questions? Again, concerns. I really don't want you to feel like, well, I don't want to say anything negative.
Great opportunity.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I appreciate all the affirmation. It's not a surprise. Many of you have been involved in these conversations. It's not new information, and most everybody has been very affirming and positive as we've worked through the challenges of figuring out how this works. Um, so thank you. Okay, I don't want to cut us off. So any others that want to share anything, you can share affirmation too.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Beth.
I was just going to say quickly, I would like to be on the kitchen committee.
Amen to that.
And there are definitely things we can do to improve that space, but right now it's zoned or it is permitted as a catering kitchen, which
Yeah.
restricts certain things. We in terms of cooking and things like that. If you move it into a commercial kitchen, it changes the rules.
I'm talking cleaning the refrigerator, putting some foil in there. I mean, simple things.
Yeah,
Amen.
no, that's easy. We can do that.
Yeah, I second Hector's thanks. So thank you, John, and thank you, Ben, for the work you guys have done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, Dean and Debbie are signing out.
All right. Yeah, we're just going to pray and do that. And again, I do feel the urgency here because my sabbatical starts in 9 weeks. So prayers would really be appreciated for many of the administrative logistical details to come together very quickly as Nicole comes on board, as we, tighten this up, so that this is not an extra burden on Pastor Ben or the others, or me, trying to go into this time of sabbatical. So, the timing is what it is. But this is a big year for Compass Church, so we're
Big year.
grateful for that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Could I ask you, Pastor Ben, to close us in prayer?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
God, we're thankful for just a wonderful update and the opportunity to just be thankful and grateful for all that you've been doing in our lives and through Compass Church. We thank you for Jonathan's generosity. We know that you have the ability to turn the hearts of all people in any way that you choose to accomplish your purposes. And we don't doubt that that's been part of your plan here at work for us to see. We do pray for the many details that still need to be wrapped up. And we ask for your favor in those things happening. God, bring us a worship leader to help with our worship needs. We're thankful for Nicole stepping up to help us in this season of transition. We thank you for the many new visitors and people who are deciding to make Compass their new home. You're at work, and we're so grateful. And we look forward with great anticipation for the things you'll continue to do in the future that we've yet to see and realize. So help us to faithfully look toward you on our knees with much gratitude and praise. So thank you for this family chat and time to reconnect virtually. And go before us, we pray, through our Lord Jesus. Amen.
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 Don't hesitate to reach out to me, to Ben, to Hector, to Jeremy, with questions, concerns. Okay, but we're open to all of that as we go forward here. And if you haven't heard the great news, I see Jeremy's on the line, but he's muted. Nicole got engaged to John Kane in the last few days.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that
Yeah.
exciting? Makes us feel like a young church.
Yeah. Wonderful.
So that's great news. We celebrate with the Reardons and with John Kane on that. So that's really, really good news. And for those of you who are watching the video later, again, please reach out to us so that you can feel like your voice is heard too. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
See you later.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye.